The remaining ninjas also came to their senses one by one. Looking at Naruto's retreating figure, they turned around and ran away. And those ninjas who were maintaining the space-time formation to cause trouble all threw down the scroll talismans in their hands and ran around screaming in all directions. Naruto heard this noisy sound, turned his head, and silently looked at those people, thinking to himself, "What are you doing? It seems like I didn't say I wanted to hunt you down." Killing Danzo is Naruto's main goal. As for Danzo's subordinates, Torian Aburame and Yamanaka Fo, both of them were killed and injured, receiving severe punishment. The remaining wings of these factions did not pose any threat to Naruto at all, so Naruto naturally would not be interested in them. Wow. Flying Thunder God technique activated. Naruto turned into orange lightning and disappeared on the spot. Next, a blink of an eye appeared on the underground prison's second floor. "Naruto-kun, are you okay?" Seeing the slithering appear beside Naruto, Hinata's face revealed a trace of delight. She threw herself into Naruto's arms, burying her head in Naruto's chest. "Cough, cough, Naruto-kun. I was just really worried about you. There are so many ninjas outside. I was so afraid something would happen to you." Naruto gently patted Hinata's back and comforted her. "Hinata, don't worry. I'm fine, and that old man Danzo was also killed by me." Just when these shadow clones accompanied Hinata, the Shadow Clones group also reported to Hinata about Naruto's plan to betray and escape from the village. Even the hidden plots and darkness behind Konoha, as well as those high-level people who have been doing bad things in recent years, have all been exposed. Hinata broke free from Naruto's embrace, raised her head, looked at Naruto, and said seriously, "Naruto-kun, the clone group just told me Niji's brother's father was forced to commit suicide by the messenger sent by Kimogakure. In fact, he has a relationship with the third Hokage? Can you tell me why this is?" To help Hinata relieve her boredom, and also to distract her from worrying too much about Naruto. So the Shadow Clone group just now started talking about Naruto's background and some past experiences. But the Hyuga clan's misfortune, that's only half the story. Well, good. While I have time now, I can also rest here safely for a bit. I will carefully talk to you about Hyuga. Naruto destroyed the remaining Shadow Clone in this stone prison. Divide into 3 people again, let them sit cross-legged on one side, and begin to absorb natural energy. Hinata, the origins of your Hyuga main family and branch family. The clones have already told you, I won't repeat it again. But that time when you were little and were taken away by the Cloud Village people, I believe you should still have some impression of it now. Yes, Hinata nodded vigorously. That experience even became her childhood nightmare. How could she forget? Naruto continued. I want to tell you now, that is, Sarutobi Hiruzen, in order to preserve his Hokage position, did those dirty things behind the scenes. The Cloud Ninja infiltrated the Leaf Village and wanted to capture you. This matter was a mistake. Cloud Village must not be at fault. But why was it your Hyuga clan that wanted to give the final message? Furthermore, it caused Niji's father to commit suicide? Hinata's eyes revealed a trace of confusion. I really don't know. My father never told me about it. Your father didn't tell you. It's just because these issues involve Konoha's politics, it's not convenient for him to reveal them casually. Why did Sarutobi Hiruzen so easily give in to Kimogakure? I want Mew out for 2 reasons. First, it was because Sarutobi Hiruzen was too timid and afraid of offending Kimogakure, which created too much conflict between the 2 countries. Second, it is because Sarutobi Hiruzen knows that the Hyuga clan's strength is growing stronger and stronger. So, he wants to use this matter to oppress the Hyuga. What? Hinata exclaimed. Konoha Northwest. A 3-headed giant python roams around in various rooms. While it was destroying the building, it also opened its bloody mouth and stretched out its long tongue to pull passers-by into its mouth and swallow them in one gulp. Collection. On a high-rise rooftop, more than 10 Konoha Hittite, 4-head shield, ninjas stood there, waving their hands and continuously swinging kunai, launching an attack towards the 3-headed python. Everyone, we must stop this monster before reinforcements arrive. We absolutely cannot let it pass. Marino Ibiki swung his arms and threw out 2 kunai, shouting behind his teammates. Yes, Captain. The remaining 10 or so team members all shouted in agreement. Immediately, they all used their best ninjutsu to launch an attack on the python. Fire release, great fire technique. Thunder release, thunder rush. All kinds of ninjutsu greeted the three-headed python, but they did not cause any real damage. To it, it was just painless and not itchy. Numb. On the contrary, the three-headed python was also completely enraged, stretching out its long red tongue and emitting a numbing sound, swinging its tail fiercely towards the ninja's house, lashing towards it. Marino Ibiki's face was filled with fear. Oh no! That monster attacked too quickly. We can't escape. Completely not on the same level. Our attacks are unable to cause any damage. The remaining team members all had eyes filled with fear. Just as the 10 or so Konoha ninjas felt despair and were about to close their eyes and wait for death, a voice suddenly rang out from the sky. The art of spiritualism. Break. In the sky, a mass of white mist exploded. Immediately, a large red-skinned toad appeared, fell from the sky, and sat down on the three-headed python's body. This Kurenai toad skin tossed up a large cloak. On the cloak there was a little ha character. On the face a very long scar, in the mouth inside holding an extremely large pipe. One side tried hard to suppress the three-headed python at the same time, also used force to suck in a few mouthfuls, spitting out a large ring of smoke. On top of this toad stood a white-haired man. He kept a thorny hair shape, his face and eyelids had a red line mark, and he carried a large scroll on his back. Seeing that, Ibiki's eyes revealed a trace of joy. That is, Lord Jiraiya? It really is Jiraiya-sama? Lord Jiraiya is too handsome. He subdued that three-headed monster with just one move. The team members were all very excited. These words naturally also fell into Jiraiya's ears. He crossed his arms. Only then did he handsomely turn around. Ah, Ibiki, you really are a big fat person. Your strength hasn't improved at all. Marino Ibiki awkwardly scratched his head. This, Jiraiya-sama, compared to you, my strength is naturally meaningless. Turning his head to scan the surroundings, Jiraiya asked in a low voice, Ibiki, don't say these useless things. Quickly use the shortest way to tell me. What exactly happened to Konoha? Why every time I pass by I see Sand Village and Hidden Ninja initiating an attack on Konoha? Marino Ibiki nodded slightly. Yes, Lord Jiraiya. However, I also followed the reinforcements to the other side to stop this monster. I'm not particularly clear about the specific situation, but I only know that it seems like Orochimaru is leading people to attack Konoha. What? Seeing the giant python under his body, Jiraiya actually had some guesses in his heart. But hearing this news with his own ears still left him shocked. It really is that Orochimaru. I didn't think he would still end up in this state today. Jiraiya's face was solemn. He asked again. Where's the third Hokage? Where is he now? Ibiki raised his finger and pointed to the east of the exam hall. The third Hokage is over there, fighting with Orochimaru. Both sides seem to be fighting fiercely. On the other battlefield, Kakashi and Might Guy are also there. Speaking up to hear, Ibiki paused for a moment, hesitantly saying, Lord Jiraiya, please continue to attack. There are still several giant pythons like this in other places. We need you to go and defeat them. This time, Orochimaru put in a lot of thought to attack Konoha. Immediately summoned these psychic giant snakes. Each one of them had extraordinary strength, not something that these ordinary Leaf Village ninjas could play. I know. Jiraiya nodded. Then immediately said to Gamamaru below, Bunta, please take care of that bug under your body. We are moving on to the next battlefield. I know, you always make me do it. Gamabunta complained a little uncomfortably. However, its movements were not slow at all. A pair of toad arms blocked the python's two heads, and its but used force to press down. Break. The three-headed python could not bear this kind of load. It let out a painful cry, exploded into a white mist, and disappeared without a trace. The remaining python's body was also huge, and the distance from this place was not too far. Gamabunta glanced around, and immediately discovered the remaining python's location. He jumped up and headed towards the other side. Who? The strong wind blew on Jiraiya's face, making his hair messy and his clothes flutter. Old man, absolutely don't die. I will quickly chase after you to save you. Jiraiya still has a lot of good feelings towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. Although it is said that the upper echelons of Konoha were in the midst of those dark activities, Jiraiya had little understanding. However, Jiraiya always remembered his old love, and Sarutobi Hiruzen's kindness in nurturing him was always engraved in his heart. On the red roof tiles, Sarutobi Hiruzen relied on the summoning beast Enma, and was also barely able to fight with the first and second. Orochimaru, on the other hand, did not participate in the battle, but just stood to the side with his arms crossed, watching the show. There were many times when he could have had a sneak attack, but Orochimaru had no choice but to attack.
Come.
Under the roof of the arena at this moment it was also in chaos. Corpses were everywhere, blood stained the ground red, but the Sand Village and Konoha ninja were still fighting. Might Guy, Kakashi, Shiranui Gunma, and the others are the main combatants on this battlefield. And in a certain room on the second floor, a pair of eyes were looking through the window crack, observing the battle below. Naruto, when will the time come? He said he wanted to go to the headquarters to deal with Danzo. The headquarters really has a lot of people, and is strong. Can he really fight alone? If I don't want to go help. Uchiha Sasuke tightly gripped the hilt of this Hiraishin specially made kunai in his hand, muttering to himself. What Naruto said earlier had a really big impact on Sasuke. This has somewhat pushed Sasuke's recent years of awareness. Sasuke used to think that Itachi Uchiha was his greatest enemy in life. Itachi is a traitor to Konoha, a disgrace to the Uchiha clan, and killed everyone in the entire Uchiha clan. Only Sasuke, this younger brother, was left to live temporarily. Letting Sasuke live in suffering. Being able to hear Naruto speak, the truth behind the Uchiha clan being exterminated, and the high-level Konoha were playing tricks. This made Sasuke somewhat unable to accept. Can think carefully about the various relationships, also feel that there is some possibility. Therefore, after Naruto left, Sasuke did not participate in any battle. Stay in that room and observe the situation outside.
Wow.
An orange figure flashed. Naruto appeared behind Sasuke. Sasuke, you're just now thinking about the past to help me. It might be a bit too late, hehe. Naruto said with a laugh. Sasuke turned his head, his eyes revealing delight. Naruto, you're finally back. I've been worried for so long. Naruto sat down on a chair to the side and said with a smile, that's natural. You also know that the base is many people and is difficult to deal with, right? It naturally took me some time to kill Danzo. Naruto handed Hinata over to a Sage Shadow clone for protection and took Hinata with him, using the Flying Thunder God technique, to run to his death in the jungle. There weren't any ninjas there, just a few wild beasts, which wouldn't pose any threat. What? Sasuke's pupils dilated, and even his voice trembled slightly. You really broke into the base like that and killed Danzo. Naruto once again renewed his awareness, although he did not understand much about the organization. But he also understood the basics of this organization from what Kakashi said before. The Root Department is not inferior to the Anbu Department. The leader of the Root Department is also a ninja of the same era as the third Hokage. Could Naruto actually be a person who killed the past and immediately took out the leader Danzo's base? This is also a bit unbelievable. Naruto nodded slightly. Ah, that's right. Danzo dared to touch Hinata. Then no matter what, I will let him die. However, killing Danzo can also be considered as helping you avenge a great revenge. That Danzo guy is truly the greatest mastermind behind the plot to destroy the Uchiha clan. Saying that, Naruto used his void move and released Danzo's body from within the space system. The space system can only contain dead objects, but the body can still be preserved. Including Danzo, who took off his right eye from his body, Naruto also placed it in the system space container. Is this guy Danzo? Why does his right arm look like this? Sasuke frowned, staring at Danzo's body questioningly. He also discovered those eyes on Danzo's right arm that were tightly closed, feeling very unimaginable. Danzo, this right-hand man, can be said to be the reason he wants to destroy you Uchiha most of the time. Because those eyes on his right arm are all your Uchiha clan's Sharingan. In fact, Danzo and the remaining Konoha high-ranking officials discussed the decision to deal with the Uchiha. Most of the reason was still to consolidate their position. Do not let the Uchiha clan initiate a rebellion. This kind of situation will definitely cause a ruckus and mutual loss, and will cause Konoha to suffer heavy losses. But in order to let Sasuke darken even more completely, Naruto had to take the matter in a different direction. Obtain the Uchiha clan Sharingan? Naruto, what exactly is going on? I don't understand much. Could it be that Danzo is like Kakashi, following us Uchiha clan, stealing the Sharingan from other people and transplanting it into his own body? Sasuke's pupils trembled slightly as he asked in a low voice. Seemingly eager to verify all of this, Sasuke quickly squatted down and peeled off the eyelids on Danzo's right arm. This is... Gray eyes, it's not Sharingan. Sasuke raised his head to look at Naruto, his face full of doubt as he asked. Naruto raised his chin with his hand, frowned and pondered for a while. This involves a type of dojutsu ability of your Uchiha clan called Izanagi. This technique can make the caster record the death state before a blink of an eye, receive a fatal attack after, recover until that state. However, the price of this technique is also very high. As you can see, it will make the Sharingan completely blind, turning into these gray pupils. Speaking, Naruto also dug out a Mangekyo Sharingan from Danzo's right eye and showed it to Sasuke. Next, Naruto briefly recounted the past grudges between the Uchiha clan and Konoha. The most important thing is still to say that Sarutobi Hiruzen and a group of Konoha's high-ranking officials, in order to consolidate their own positions, made the decision to destroy the Uchiha. Along with the entire biggest event-pushing hand, Shimura Danzo, in order to rob more Sharingan scheme. As for Itachi Uchiha's extermination of his entire clan, in reality his main purpose was to keep his most beloved younger brother, Sasuke. Naruto did not say everything about this point. This is Itachi's specialized path of revenge that Sasuke has created. Itachi knew that the Uchiha clan's rise to power was fueled and sustained by hatred. Itachi hopes that Sasuke can hate him at the same time, quickly increase his own strength. Regarding this point, Naruto also did not want to break it right now. Sasuke's current Sharingan still only opened to 2 Jade forms. If Itachi's matter were to be revealed now, it would definitely slow down Sasuke's strength growth. Regardless, this is not the best choice for Sasuke. Naruto, is what you said true? The Uchiha clan really was planning to rebel, and was plotted to death by those high-ranking members of Konoha village. Hearing these things, Sasuke's whole body was trembling nonstop. It could be seen how angry he was at the moment. Naruto nodded slightly. I naturally won't lie to you. The reason why the Uchiha clan wants to secretly plot a rebellion is because they have been oppressed by the high-ranking members of Konoha village. During the early years of the Uchiha clan's existence, did there often occur matters of clan relocation? I believe you probably still have an impression. The reason why the Uchiha clan was forced to move to the outskirts of Konoha was because the Konoha higher-ups shunned the Uchiha. It seems like it really is like this. Sasuke bowed his head and muttered to himself. But very quickly, he seemed to remember something, suddenly raised his head and asked, Naruto, how exactly do you know these things? You are just the same age as me. Why do you know so many secrets? This is not Sasuke's fault for being suspicious. Any normal person would have doubts. Every single thing Naruto said was so reasonable. But looking at this guy who had been in the ninja school with him for many years, Sasuke still found it a bit unbelievable. Naruto's face showed a troubled expression. How do you know these things? I really can't tell you right now. However, if you don't believe what I say, I can now take you to that old man Sarutobi Hiruzen for questioning. Speaking, Naruto pushed open the window, looking towards the corner of the red-tiled roof. Sasuke gritted his teeth and said in a low voice, Well, then thank you, Naruto. It's not that I don't believe you, it's just that this matter involves too many things. I need to be sure enough. Naruto nodded slightly. Yes, I can understand you, let's go. Saying that, Naruto jumped out of the window and ran towards the red-tiled roof. Sasuke also jumped out, following closely behind. Ada. Leaf Village Whirlwind. Right on the second floor, while dealing with the enemy Might Guy, he kicked an enemy away with one kick and saw Naruto and Sasuke running towards him. After fighting for so long, Might Guy was already exhausted and out of breath. He waved his hand and shouted, Hey, Naruto, where did you just run off to? Hurry up and come here to help deal with the enemy. Naruto turned his head to look at him, helplessly shaking his head and saying, It's inconvenient, Mr. Guy. I'm no longer a Leaf Village ninja. While talking, Naruto also removed the ninja Hitayate, forehead treasure, from his forehead and used a kunai to cut a horizontal line on the Konoha village symbol. Sasuke gritted his teeth. Without saying a word, he took the kunai and wiped it on his forehead with the Hitayate, forehead treasure. Ninja Hitayate, forehead treasure, symbol meaning, naturally no need to say much. This is the representative, so the name ninja belongs to a certain village power symbol. At the same time, it also means that ninja status has surpassed that of ordinary people. But Naruto and Sasuke, the two people, made that action, naturally could not be meant as a joke. This also made many of the surrounding people who saw the ninja reveal looks of horror. What the hell is going on, hey? Naruto. You two, wait a moment. Might Guy looked even more confused. But when he wanted to catch up and ask about the time, he was stopped by several sand ninjas. Sasuke. Let's go. Don't mind him. Naruto said to Sasuke, then jumped and ran up to the red tile roof. Yes. Sasuke followed closely behind. The red tile roof in the center of the large area was currently surrounded by the 4 purple flame formation. Originally, he was watching the fun of the 3 Umbu ninjas outside the 4 purple flame formation. At this moment, he also discovered Naruto running over. His masked faces were filled with excitement. That's great. Naruto-kun came running. Is the 3rd Hokage finally saved?
Naruto-kun.
Quickly think of a way to help us break this formation. The 3rd Hokage is locked inside and being attacked by people. He is about to collapse. The 2 Umbu ninja shouted loudly, signaling Naruto for support. Naruto's previous death in the forest dealing with the one-tailed Shikaku incident through these days of fermentation had really been completely spread. In the ninja circle of Konoha, almost everyone knows that Naruto already possesses very strong strength. Seeing Naruto coming, the 3 Umbu ninja seemed to have seen their savior. Wait a minute. Look closely at the Hittite forehead treasure on Naruto's head. One of them, a black-robed Umbu ninja, quickly pulled the other two's arms and said cautiously, that Hittite forehead treasure, cut above, is the mark of a traitor ninja. Disgusting.
Naruto.
What the hell is this? Do you really want to be a traitorous ninja? The voices of the other 2 white-robed Umbu carried anger, but it was also as if they were wary of Naruto's strength being too strong, so they didn't dare to approach carelessly. Be smart and go away. I don't have time to waste words with you right now. Naruto shouted in a low voice, scaring the 3 people into taking a few steps back. At the corner of the 4 purple flame formation, not far away, the person who had been squatting down to maintain the Kadamura formation had first heard a few people talking. Seeing Sasuke following behind Naruto, Kadamura at first thought that Sasuke was seduced by the cursed seal of heaven and became a traitor ninja along with Naruto. The corner of his mouth revealed a trace of contempt, and he spoke mockingly. Hey, look, the Leaf Village ninjas are all rebelling at this time. It seems that our Lord Orochimaru's charm is really not small. Naruto turned his head and glared at Kadamura, saying in a low voice, our business has nothing to do with that stinking snake. Close your stinking mouth. Hearing his most respected Orochimaru being insulted, Kadamura immediately became angry and shouted loudly, you stinking brat. Who are you to dare to say such things? Lord Orochimaru. Naruto's face immediately turned cold, looking at Kadamura with eyes that looked like he was about to die. 30 seconds. What do you mean? Kadamura's face was full of doubt. You can live for 30 seconds at most. You little brat are too arrogant. The 4 purple flame formation is not something you, a mere mortal, can destroy. As for Naruto defeating Shikaku alone, Kadamura naturally also knew the same thing. Looking at Naruto's confident eyes, Kadamura couldn't help but feel a little panicked. But Kadamura quickly thought of the 4 purple flame formation's resistance ability. It wasn't something ordinary people could just casually break, so he immediately felt a lot more at ease. Sasuke, step back. Naruto ordered, gently closing his eyes. The body was in a 2-story underground prison inside a celestial shadow clone. With a bang, a white mist exploded, disappearing without a trace. The chakra energy of the technique instantly returned to Naruto's original body. Naruto suddenly opened his eyes. An orange circle of eyes appeared around his eyelids, and his pupils turned into light blue vertical pupils. Naruto jumped up and down, straight to Kadamura's position. Naruto's body was in the air, his hand slightly raised. A large area of chakra airflow appeared in his palm. Almost in the blink of an eye, a giant Rasengan about 20 meters in diameter appeared in Naruto's palm. This is disgusting. Looking at that extremely huge chakra energy light sphere smashing towards him, Kadamura's eyes were filled with fear. Senpo's super great gem Rasengan. Naruto let out a low shout, holding the super great jade Rasengan in his hand, and did not choose to attack the 4 purple flame formation, but instead smashed like crazy towards the red-tiled roof.
Boom boom tilde tilde tilde.
The earth-shattering explosion rang out. Accompanied by a burst of dust, the red-tiled roof was instantly smashed into a huge hole, and broken bricks and tiles continuously fell down with a loud bang. As expected, things were as Naruto had thought. Although this four-purple flame formation was sealed on all sides and above, the roof below was not sealed. Kadamaru also let out a cry of surprise, his body following that deep pit changed direction to the next level.
Wow.
Senpo body flicker technique activated. Naruto suddenly dodged and disappeared from the spot. Then in the blink of an eye, he stepped forward to the next floor, reached out and grabbed Kadamaru's throat. Disgusting. You this guy. Kadamaru felt himself being squeezed by a strong and powerful arm, making it difficult for him to breathe. He frowned, hurriedly activating his two spell abilities. Black lines rapidly spreading across the skin. Crack. But Naruto didn't give him time to resist. His strong arm used force and cut off Kadamaru's throat. Fresh blood spurted out crazily. Kadamaru fell to the ground, clutching his throat and struggling in pain. He never thought that he would be instantly killed by a young man before he died. The red tiles on the roof, not far away, were watching the three Umbu ninja. All of them were dumbfounded on the spot. That technique Naruto just used. What the hell is it? How is it so scary? I heard something like sage magic? What exactly is sage magic? Isn't it ninjutsu? The black-robed ninja had extensive knowledge. He forcefully swallowed his saliva and said with a trembling voice. Regarding the matter of sage technique, I heard the clan elders mention it before. Sage technique has surpassed the category of ninjutsu and is no longer on the same level as the ninjutsu we use. And the powerful method that Naruto just used, I'm afraid, is still just a type of sage technique. Uchiha Sasuke was not far from those Umbu guys. He had seen them all clearly. Naruto, how strong are you now? You're already so far away from pushing me away. Disgusting. Lord Orochimaru, the formation can't be maintained. Sakan saw Kadamaru fall with his own eyes and knew something was wrong. As this four-purple flame formation lost Kadamaru's support, the entire purple light formation began to vibrate violently. Unable to maintain for 10 seconds, with a swish sound, the four-purple flame formation completely dispersed. Orochimaru gritted his teeth. It really is that Uzumaki Naruto brat? I didn't think he would be able to break the formation so easily. Sarutobi Hiruzen was currently entangled between the first and second. Senju Tobirama jumped up with a shake, lifted his leg and kicked Sarutobi Hiruzen next to him in the face. Ah! Sarutobi Hiruzen screamed miserably, blood spurting from his mouth. His body rolled far away from the red roof tiles, barely stopping, and the golden rod in his hand was also thrown away. Wood release. Tree world subduing egg. Sarutobi Hiruzen had just gotten up when Hashirama Senju arrived not far away, clasped his hands in salute, and formed the wood release ninjutsu hand seal. Crack crack. In just a moment, red tiles appeared and shattered. Large tree roots grew out from various places. Almost at a speed visible to the naked eye, those tree roots quickly grew into giant trees that covered the sky, covering half of the roof. Sarutobi Hiruzen was not lucky enough to escape the difficult situation, being wrapped and tied up by several tree branches. His body, which did not have much chakra, was still being absorbed and robbed by these trees. Disgusting, it absolutely cannot end here. That Naruto brat has already come to save me. Sarutobi Hiruzen clenched his teeth, determined in his heart. He wanted to resist until Naruto caught up. He couldn't fall down so easily. Wow. An orange figure jumped from the next layer and landed next to Sasuke. One shot caught Sasuke's shoulder. Senpo body flicker technique was activated. Naruto and Sasuke dodged and appeared in front of Orochimaru. Looking at Naruto's current appearance, Orochimaru's pupils slightly shrank for a moment. He secretly muttered in his heart. This Ninetales little devil's aura, why is it so different from before? As a Kage-level expert, Orochimaru, seeing Naruto appear for the first time, he felt that he was somewhat unable to see through Naruto. His hand held Kusanagi, his eyes revealed vigilance as he looked at Naruto, not in a hurry to speak for a moment. Sarutobi Hiruzen was on one side trying to resist the rattan wrapped around him, gritting his teeth as he looked at Naruto's back and shouted, "Naruto, quickly help me escape. Together we will deal with that Orochimaru guy." Naruto turned his head to glare at Sarutobi Hiruzen. A cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. "Old man, don't be mistaken. I'm not here to help you. I just have something to ask you. Naruto looked at Orochimaru and said in a low voice, Orochimaru, why don't you take a break in the middle of the match? Sasuke and I have some things that we need to verify with you, and the third Hokage. Orochimaru let out a strange laugh, and immediately discovered that Naruto and Sasuke's foreheads had traces of Hittite forehead treasure. He looked Naruto and Sasuke up and down with interest and said in a low voice, Are you too sure you want to become traitorous ninjas? This little guy is really interesting. The things that happened were all earth-shattering events. Naruto, what should we do now? Sasuke moved a little closer to Naruto. With Sasuke's current strength, under the pressure of the powerful weapons of several Kage-level experts around him, he still couldn't adapt. A trace of fear was born in the bottom of his heart. Naruto patted Sasuke's shoulder, signaling that he was fine. Naruto immediately turned his head to look at Orochimaru and said in a low voice, Orochimaru, you must have heard what I just said, right? Do you want to temporarily cease fighting and let us talk? Still, let me apply coercive measures to make you stop? This threatening words caused a trace of displeasure to appear on Orochimaru's face, but he quickly suppressed it, revealing a teasing smile at the corner of his mouth. You're called Uzumaki Naruto, right, Naruto-kun? I'm really getting more and more interested in you. Saying that, Orochimaru lifted Tsuchi and snapped his fingers. Just as he was about to attack Sarutobi Hiruzen and Enma, the first and second all stopped. The first and second shook and jumped, returning to Orochimaru's back, but without saying a word. Their feelings had long been taken away. Sarutobi, what happened to you? Old Enma, who is not familiar with mobile phones, struggled to climb down, finally arriving next to Sarutobi Hiruzen. He used that pair of monkey claws to dig hard, finally helping Sarutobi Hiruzen remove the bundle of tree vines tied to his body, completely. Hu-ho, finally able to escape. Sarutobi Hiruzen opened his mouth wide and kept panting. After a moment of leisurely regaining his strength, Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his head. His face filled with disappointment as he looked towards Naruto. Naruto, why did you do such a thing? Do you really want to be a traitorous ninja? Naruto looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with an unchanged expression. Old man, since you saw the cut on my ninja Hittite forehead treasure, you already know my choice. Why do you need to ask so many questions? Sarutobi Hiruzen helplessly sighed and stood up straight with Enma, slowly opening his mouth to say, I just don't understand why you have to do this. And also encourage Sasuke to rebel with you? All these years, I have waited for you, it's not bad. Konoha has waited for you, it's not bad. It's created conditions for you to eat and drink, and let you go to the shinobi school. Enough. Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Naruto's roar. Naruto forced himself to suppress the anger in his heart, trying to persuade himself not to act rashly for now. Only then did he not rush forward and beat Sarutobi Hiruzen to a pulp. Calming down for a moment, Naruto said in a low voice, Old man, you're still not ashamed to mention these things. Then I actually want to ask you, why did Danzo spread the news that I am the nine-tailed demon fox in the village, but you completely ignored it? Why didn't you tell the villagers that my father is the hero who saved Konoha, Minato Namikaze? Why is it that my father, the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze, did not leave any legacy for me to inherit? Wants me, Tenten, to eat those expired milk and bread for a living. Orochimaru stood to the side with his arms crossed, looking at the scene before him with a look of watching a play, muttering to himself. Things seem to be getting more and more interesting. It seems that all the bad things that old guy did were revealed to him by this little nine-tailed demon. Hearing Naruto mention these things, Sasuke couldn't help but recall the experiences of recent years. Sasuke secretly said in his heart, Naruto is right. My entire Uchiha clan was destroyed, but why don't I have any inheritance? Instead, I'm like those orphans, living off of the relief money I receive every month. Thinking of Naruto's angry tone, it's not hard to guess that these legacy items were probably swallowed up by Sarutobi Hiruzen. The matter was revealed. Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face was filled with shame. But he is still an old man. Blushing is just a matter of a moment. In a flash, he returned to normal and started to make up an excuse. Naruto, I didn't think you already knew about the fourth. However, I took away the fourth's assets and didn't leave them to you. All for your own good. You want to understand the third Hokage's hard work. I'm here to temper your will. A truly excellent ninja can only be tempered by experience in difficult circumstances and have the ability to undergo transformation. The more Naruto listened, the angrier he became. He couldn't help but let out a mocking laugh. Old man, so what you mean is I still have to thank you and Danzo. These 12 years of giving me these hard lives. And this is how I have achieved this achievement today. Still standing on the edge of the red-tiled roof, the 5 of them were hiding, and all of them couldn't help but frown. Sakan shouted loudly. Hey! The third Hokage's excuses like this are too shameless. Tayuya took out the flute from her body and nodded in agreement. That's right. I'm afraid even a child wouldn't believe these words. Orochimaru glared at the 2 of them. Immediately, Sakan and Tayuya hurriedly bowed their heads, not daring to continue speaking. This being ridiculed by the outsiders for a while. Even though Sarutobi Hiruzen had thick skin, at this moment he finally felt a little embarrassed. He said yes for half a day, but did not say anything after that. Naruto snorted softly. Old man. Calculate. I came to find you this time, if not to ask for justice from you. It is related to the truth behind the Uchiha clan's extermination. Sasuke wants to ask you clearly. What? Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned for a moment, his face filled with shock. If Naruto could find out his identity and at the same time clearly investigate the rumors about Danzo behind the scenes playing tricks with a 9-tailed demon fox, it wouldn't have shocked Sarutobi Hiruzen. So now Naruto said something related to the Uchiha clan. It made Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart completely confused. In this Konoha, the number of people who know the Uchiha clan's extermination can be counted on one hand. Except for him, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Shimura Danzo, Koharu Udatane, Hamura Mitokado for high-ranking Konoha. The 5th person is also only Uchiha Itachi. Could it be Itachi returned to the village? Maybe this is not the past. Sasuke is still in the village. Why didn't Itachi take him away? Sarutobi Hiruzen's series of changes in expression. Sasuke really took them all in. Sasuke was originally a smart person. Through Naruto's previous presentation and Sarutobi Hiruzen's appearance, it was as if he wanted to say something but stopped. Sasuke immediately could confirm that the truths Naruto had told about the extermination of his clan were probably all true. Recalling the past and all kinds of activities together with parents, reminiscing about the happy life with family before, Sasuke was both heartbroken and angry to the extreme. His body was trembling incessantly, and without realizing it, he once again passively activated the heavenly curse seal. Black veins crawled all over his body. Sasuke glared at Sarutobi Hiruzen and angrily roared. Speak. Third, what the hell are you hiding? What the hell are you and Danzo doing behind the scenes? Were the Uchiha clan really designed to be killed by you guys? Orochimaru looked at Sasuke activating the curse seal, couldn't help but excitedly stick out his long tongue, licking the side of his mouth. But he probably didn't want to cut off the topic right away, so he didn't say anything. Enma saw Sarutobi Hiruzen's troubled expression, reached out and patted his shoulder. What's wrong, Sarutobi? Is there something you can't say? Those 2 young men said. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed. His old friend of many years had already asked the question. Sarutobi Hiruzen also had no intention of continuing to hide it. Sasuke, the Uchiha clan, and Senju have had resentment for many years. These are not things that can be explained in a moment. Although I don't know how you and Naruto know these things, but your understanding is also a bit one-sided. Your father Uchiha Fugaku, who previously led a group of Uchiha clan members, had secretly plotted for a long time, preparing to rebel. Danzo and I made this decision to preserve the overall situation. Anyway, at that time, Konoha was really being watched by several other great nations. Among them, Cloud Village and Rock Village, the 2 great ninja villages, were always staring at us and not letting go. If the Uchiha's rebellion really happened, I'm afraid that because of this fuse, several other countries would launch a siege on our Konoha. Sasuke seemed to have reached the peak of his anger. He threw his head back and let out a loud laugh, glaring at Sarutobi Hiruzen and roaring once again. These pretentious excuses. You really can talk nonsense. Even if you are thinking for the entire Konoha village, you can completely capture the Uchiha traitor. Calm down this storm. Why did you have to charm Itachi Uchiha to exterminate the entire clan? Why does Danzo want to take out my Uchiha clansman Sharingan? Speaking of this, Sasuke was completely unable to suppress the anger in his heart. He bent down slightly and with a whoosh, he rushed towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. Lightning's light flickered in his hand, and under the power of the seal, he instantly used Chidori.
See.
The electric current at the red tile on the roof slid, pulling out a very deep groove. Today's experience continuously made his mood fluctuate. At this moment, Sasuke's anger flew straight to his brain, reaching its peak. That pair of Sharingan twin hooks rapidly moved in the pupils. After stopping, another hook was added once again. The three-jewel Sharingan form has been opened. Sarutobi Hiruzen's mouth revealed a trace of disdain. Although his body was currently injured, he was not a child like Sasuke, who could shout and yell at will. Since you insist on being stubborn, don't blame me. With that, Sarutobi Hiruzen quickly formed hand seals with both hands.
Doton.
Doryuden Earth Release, Earth Dragon Bullet. As the seal was completed, Sarutobi Hiruzen opened his mouth and spat out. A large mud flow formed in front of him, rapidly expanding outward and flowing downstream. And beside his body appeared a Kitsuchi-shaped dragon head, opened its big mouth, shot out large handfuls of mud, and sprayed toward Sasuke's direction. Sasuke dodged left and right repeatedly, but was still hit by a large ball of mud. In a blink of an eye, both his legs were stuck to the roof, unable to move. Hideous. Sasuke cursed darkly, his angry emotions also calmed down a bit. He could feel these eyes, which could see the trajectory of those large mud balls attacking, but at this moment, the body's speed was not fast enough, unable to smoothly dodge all the attacks. Hoo. The Earth Dragon's head was still continuously spitting out large handfuls of mud. As the first piece of mud stuck to Sasuke's body, he was momentarily unable to escape. Immediately after that, the second, third, and fourth balls of mud continuously flew toward Sasuke. Fire-style Fire Dragon Attack. Sarutobi Hiruzen took advantage of the victory and completed another set of fire release ninjutsu seals. His head tilted back, then suddenly spurted forward. A large patch of fire swept out, heading straight toward Sasuke. Originally still on the red tiles, the wet mud flowed and slid, but after being burned by the fire, it instantly turned solid. And Sarutobi Hiruzen also seemed to think of using such a method to defeat Uchiha Sasuke in one move. Naruto, this kind of powerful guy. In front of him, Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted a little. He could still endure a little more. It's true that Sasuke dared to yell in front of him, this Hokage. This fact made him completely angry. Moreover, Tobirama teacher once said it himself. The Uchiha clan is an evil clan. Increasing strength is all based on the influence of negative emotions. Moreover, he didn't have much sympathy for Sasuke, so naturally he wouldn't show any mercy. Earth Release, Earth Flowing Wall. Naruto quickly dodged forward. After forming a seal beside Sasuke, he squatted down and suddenly patted the ground. Boom. One side is about 6 meters wide, with yellow earthen walls, and the red tiled roof suddenly rises from the ground. Under the blessing of the chakra sage technique, even the thickness and width of the earth flow wall were doubled. This is a situation where Naruto also did not intentionally release too much chakra.
Boom. Tilde.
The remaining large handfuls of mud were all stuck to the wall of the earth stream. Sarutobi Hiruzen released Fire Release, which also hit the earth stream on the wall, raising a sky-high wave of fire, but did not cause any damage to the two people behind. At this moment, Sasuke finally used the chakra energy on his body to blow away the mud stuck on his body. He looked at Naruto with gratitude. Naruto, thank you. Naruto shook his head. We are good friends, no need to say more. Sasuke was a bit stunned. This was the first time Naruto had confessed such good words to him, leaving him momentarily at a loss. Sasuke softly agreed, but he still felt a little happy inside. No matter what, Naruto, although very strong, has no intention of abandoning his teammate, on the contrary, is helping him.
Boom, baya, tilde.
A drumbeat of applause rang out. Orochimaru clapped his hands while smiling as he slowly walked towards the side. This is really interesting, Sarutobi-sensei. I didn't think that the dirty activities you and Danzo and the others were doing would be thoroughly investigated by these two little guys. Humph, this time I really didn't come in vain. Not only did I watch a good show, but I was also able to let the world know how shameless you old man is. Speaking of this, Orochimaru's pair of blue pupils revealed anger. He came to attack Konoha. Perhaps not simply to take revenge on Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had not passed the Hokage position to him before. Even more so, in order to avenge his parents. He launched a comprehensive revenge plan against Konoha. After all, Orochimaru's parents both died in the hands of the Leaf Village ninja, and Orochimaru saw it all with his own eyes. Suddenly, Orochimaru turned his head to look at Naruto and said in a low voice, "Naruto-kun, I see your intentions. You probably won't stop me from dealing with that old man." Naruto nodded without any hesitation. "That's natural. If you need it, I can even help you." Looking through the original Naruto, I can see clearly in my heart. Orochimaru's biggest goal in attacking Konoha this time is probably to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen. In fact, the so-called Konoha territory for a science research madman like Orochimaru doesn't have much appeal. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face turned ugly. He grabbed the golden staff in front of him and waved it a few times. I really didn't expect that at my age. 2 of the strongest traitors to the Leaf Village would come out. But I will not back down easily. Even if it means trading my life for the price, I will capture you all today. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned, recalling the scene when Minato sealed the nine-tailed fox. Today, he was afraid he would also want to do the same to Minato, using that technique to resolve today's grudge. It's not that Sarutobi Hiruzen isn't afraid of death, but compared to protecting his entire life's foundation, he'd rather put in the effort in his remaining time before his old age. Roaring. While talking, the sky's suddenly row of giant monsters fell into the center of the battle formation below. Hey, Jiraiya, what the hell is going on? I sense the Myobokuzen, Mayata Mountain, sage technique energy on that blonde little devil's body. Gamabunta's giant body filled the entire arena. He sat down and even crushed the ninja, who had just fought to the death in the arena, into meat pies. Falling to the ground first, Gamabunta immediately looked towards the red tile roof, and at the same time, sensed the Senjutsu chakra energy on Naruto's body. Sage technique. Jiraiya frowned slightly, following Gamabunta's gaze, and immediately found Naruto's place. The corner of the eye carries an orange eyeshadow. A pair of pupils both turn green and erect. Other than that, Naruto has no other special toads on his body. But Jiraiya still immediately recognized that this was the state of possessing the Senjutsu chakra. Moreover, Naruto's state is still the most excellent state after mastering the Myobokuzen, Mystic Wood Mountain, sage technique. What the hell is going on? Jiraiya muttered in a low voice, then jumped down from above Gamabunta's head. After a few shakes, he landed next to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Hey, old man, can you still hold on? Jiraiya looked at Orochimaru and Naruto with wary eyes and spoke in a low voice. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes revealed a trace of joy. With Jiraiya's help, perhaps he no longer needed to use that sealing technique. Jiraiya, you came at the right time. I was worried that one person would be unable to handle 2 of them. Orochimaru let out a strange laugh, his face teasing as he said, Sarutobi teacher, aren't you mistaken about something? The first eye and second eye are now both being helped by me. Adding Naruto-kun's words, you want 2 people to deal with 4 people. Today's battle is getting more and more interesting. Jiraiya looked at the first and second eyes, frowning at the same time. He naturally recognized these 2 people and added in Naruto, who possessed the sage technique. Jiraiya instantly felt a mountain of pressure. Orochimaru, what the hell is going on? Didn't the first eye and second eye pass away many years ago? What the hell did you do to their bodies? It's in pure world reincarnation, Jiraiya. Sarutobi Hiruzen wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said in a low voice. Previously, Tobirama researched in pure world reincarnation but never used it, so he classified this technique as a forbidden technique. Jiraiya knew this technique, but this was the first time he saw it with his own eyes. So that's how it is. No wonder first eye and second eye appeared in such a way. Jiraiya's pupils contracted for a moment, then he immediately turned his head to look at Naruto. Blonde hair, 9 tails, whiskers on face. Just now he didn't recognize it, but now after observing carefully, Jiraiya still recognized Naruto's identity with a glance. That kid is the 9 tails Jinchuriki, Minato's child? Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. That's right, but I don't know for what reason. Naruto found out about my identity and is currently carrying that Uchiha kid, preparing to escape to somewhere. Naruto, hearing this name, Jiraiya felt extremely troubled. Uzumaki Naruto is the title character of Jiraiya's autobiography novel, The Ninja's Identity. I still vaguely remember the time when Minato and Kushina hugged the two of them and wanted to give their child a name. Jiraiya then jokingly said, Uzumaki Naruto. Didn't expect that Minato guy to agree immediately and even appeared extremely happy. Recalling all sorts of past events, Jiraiya couldn't help but frown. Why exactly? Why did things turn out like this? All these years I left. What exactly happened to Konoha? Saying this, Jiraiya's voice didn't have much. It seemed like he was feeling emotional. And also seemed like he was questioning Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed, pretending to be sorry, and bowed his head. This is all because of me. If I could have stood up and stopped Danzo from spreading rumors in the village, perhaps Naruto wouldn't have suffered so much these past years and wouldn't have ended up in this situation. Not waiting for him to finish his words of repentance, Naruto couldn't help but interrupt him. Enough. Old man. I am not a 3-year-old child. Your sweet words cannot fool me. How come I didn't notice you like to pretend before, pushing everything onto Danzo? Can you escape being implicated? You really are the 3rd Hokage. Wanting to suppress this kind of public opinion, isn't it as easy as turning your hand? But you still choose to do nothing. There is also the matter of the entire Uchiha clan being exterminated. You, Danzo, Koharu Yutane, Hamura Mitokado, and the others, not one of you can escape being involved. Originally, Sarutobi Hiruzen thought of continuing to pretend for a while. Maybe he could still make Naruto regain his composure. Hearing Naruto reveal all the secrets that should only be known to the high-ranking members of Konoha, his expression immediately became unsightly. Naruto, although I don't know where you heard this one-sided news, dirty water cannot be thrown away. Sarutobi Hiruzen made up his mind. There were no witnesses here. As long as he refused to admit his death, then the blame could not be placed on him. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique. Naruto formed a Shadow Clone hand seal, and with a bang, a cloud of mist exploded, and a Shadow Clone appeared beside him. Sasuke, you go ahead and stay with Hinata. This place is quite dangerous for you. Naruto turned his head and said. Sasuke gritted his teeth, looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen with eyes filled with resentment. How he wanted to personally stab this old man and kill Sarutobi Hiruzen. But he also deeply knew that his current strength was too weak. If he wanted to strongly participate in this level of battle, he could only hold Naruto back. Naruto, be careful. Everything is up to you. Although his heart was filled with unwillingness, Sasuke still agreed. Shadow Clone walked to Sasuke's side, one hand grabbing Sasuke's shoulder.
Wow.
Flying Thunder God technique activated. The Shadow Clone carrying Sasuke disappeared from the spot. Seeing that Naruto had even learned Hiraishin, Jiraiya's pupils couldn't help but shrink again, his mind filled with terror. Even Minato's improved Hiraishin has been mastered? This kid is truly an unpredictable genius. Naruto turned his head to look at Orochimaru and slowly said, Mr. Orochimaru, the hatred between us still exists. You let Yakushi Kabuto attack Hinata. I can't forget it now. But now that we have a common enemy, let us temporarily cooperate this time. Orochimaru let out a strange laugh, looking at Naruto's side with interest. He felt more and more that Naruto was unfathomable. Naruto's words almost had a kind of detachment from his maturity at this age. Naruto-kun, it looks like you want to kidnap Sasuke-kun. Even if you don't do what I said, I will still think of a way to bring Sasuke-kun with you in the future. Orochimaru stretched out his long tongue and licked the side of his mouth. He had given Naruto, this little child whose strength could be on par with his own, enough respect. As soon as he finished speaking, Orochimaru retracted the smile on his face. A cold glint flashed in his eyes. Following his mental control, the first eye and second eye rushed out like lightning, straight towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. Wanna go, Enma? Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was solemn. He reached out and grabbed the golden staff stuck in the ground. The one eye on the golden staff blinked, opened its mouth and responded. Sarutobi, I can sense that your chakra is not much. I'm afraid you won't be able to hold on for too long. Orochimaru raised his hand and slightly clenched it. Kusanagi emitted a light and appeared in his hand. He bent down and quickly charged out, closely followed by the first and second behind him, launching an attack towards Sarutobi Hiruzen.
Naruto-kun.
The 3rd Hokage left that old man to me. You go deal with that Jiraiya guy. No problem. Naruto nodded in agreement, immediately running straight towards Jiraiya's direction. No matter how much hatred Orochimaru has towards Sarutobi Hiruzen, he still wants to personally take care of him. Naruto all agreed with such a decision. Anyway, Naruto read the original and knew that when that old man Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't fight back, he wanted to use the dead demon seal. The ghost seal. The Uzumaki clan passed down an ancient sealing technique. The sorcerer must hand over his soul to the Grim Reaper in order to reach a deal with the Grim Reaper, allowing the Grim Reaper to help the sorcerer take away the soul he wishes to seal. Maybe death is not of this world. This also means that only when the soul is captured by the Grim Reaper can one see the terrifying appearance of the Grim Reaper. Once captured by the Grim Reaper, there is no way to easily escape. One can only play a tug-of-war game with the necromancer to see who dies first. Naruto also did not want to be sealed in his stomach by Sarutobi Hiruzen at a young age. Therefore, dealing with Jiraiya is the best candidate. Senpo's super great gem Rasengan. Naruto said nothing, and a Rasengan super great ball condensed in his hand. Immediately used his own fast-appearing after-image body technique, rushed forward and gave Jiraiya a shot. What? Even this technique has been learned. Jiraiya's face was filled with horror. Who would have thought that now only he would be able to use Rasengan ninjutsu, but now even his disciples have learned it. Again, the sealed scroll that recorded the Rasengan should not be complete. Jiraiya was sent flying backwards by that huge Rasengan, screaming miserably.
Boom boom tilde tilde tilde.
The super great jade Rasengan exploded on the red tiles on the roof, creating a huge hole in the roof, but was knocked to the ground miserably by the super great jade Rasengan. Jiraiya, suddenly in the middle, turned into a yellow muddy mass, rumbling down. Earth clone? Naruto muttered, but he wasn't too surprised. If Jiraiya, a Sannin-level expert, couldn't even handle a single ninjutsu, then he would truly be ashamed of this title. But Naruto just gently closed his eyes, through the Senjutsu's sensing ability, instantly sensed Jiraiya's existence. Just now Sarutobi Hiruzen made that pile of mud. Jiraiya was hiding inside. Hiding is useless, Mr. Jiraiya. Naruto smiled, turned around and rushed towards that side. For this lustful old man Jiraiya, even though it was the first time Naruto met him, but because he had seen the original relationship, he still liked him very much. If he wanted to stop Jiraiya, and not let him go to Sarutobi Hiruzen to help, then Naruto's mission would be considered complete. Flower a bit. Jiraiya from the mud puddle inside the upper half of his body emerged, turned his head towards the other side of the battle formation and shouted, Bunta, help The little guy has now opened the sage form. I can't keep up with his speed. Huh? Jiraiya, you're too shameless. Gamma Bunta's voice was like thunder. He spat out a large mouthful of smoke and complained. Immediately, it used its two claws to tightly grasp a particularly large great saber at its waist and pulled it out from its sheath. Whoosh! A cold light appeared, and an exceptionally large ninja saber slashed straight down at Naruto. Naruto naturally had no chance of being injured by such a slow attack. Stop rushing forward situation. Suddenly fly backwards. Wait a minute. Gamma Bunta in hand especially big ninja sword. Again life to cut red tile roof to create a huge hole. Also don't know if the extra weight pillar is damaged or not. This direction of the sturdy red tiled roof again emitted a creaking sound, like there was a possibility of collapsing under the roof. Having a huge body is an advantage. Naruto couldn't help but praise. Collect. Collect. Naruto swung his arm and threw two specially made Hiraishin kunai, shooting straight towards Jiraiya's face. Jiraiya and Minato Namikaze waited for quite a while, so they were naturally very familiar with that unique style of kunai. He hurriedly escaped from the mud puddle, not preparing to block the kunai. But as chasing at kunai to before, two hands danced down forming a clan's ninjutsu hand seal. Ninja technique. Lion's chaos attack technique. Boom boom. Jiraiya's long white hair, which was clad in a cloak, rapidly grew longer in an instant. Like a white porcupine exploding, it was about to stab outwards with its sharp spikes. Ding ding. Two specially made Hiraishin kunai hit Haku's hair, made a crisp sound and fell to the ground. And Jiraiya's hedgehog-like explosive thrust continued to rapidly grow outwards, stabbing straight towards Naruto's body. This ninjutsu move he used can be said to have multiple aspects of offense and defense. Knocked down the kunai, making it impossible for Naruto to use Hiraishin close range at the same time. He also took advantage of those stabs to counterattack Naruto. As expected of Jiraiya, Naruto silently spat out a sentence, continuously dodging and retreating. dodging each sharp stab that came down. Each stab pierced a hole in the red roof tiles. The situation looked extremely fierce. Come and eat my knife again. As the final thrust of the attack was completed, Gamabunta's thunderous roar rang out once more. It held the huge ninja sword in both hands and slashed at Naruto's waist.
Boom boom tilde tilde tilde.
Sharp blade carries howling wind. Naruto jumped up. His two legs stepped over the blade to borrow strength. Once again, he dodged and jumped, heading towards the past. With the chakra enhancement, Naruto was almost instantly in front of Jiraiya. The fist attack was directed towards Jiraiya's abdomen, launching a fierce physical technique attack towards him. In fact, Naruto also attacked Jiraiya face to face. But Jiraiya's height was 1 meter 90 something, a height Naruto currently couldn't reach at all. So go. Break, 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 break. The sound of fists and feet clashing continuously rang out. Although Jiraiya could barely keep up with Naruto's attack speed, under the pressure of his Sage mode, he still suffered quite a few punches. Moreover, under the force of the immortal form, it is really not the same as a normal attack. The difference is not even a little bit. Every time Jiraiya used his hand to block the opponent's incoming punch, he felt a burning pain in his palm. Break.
Ah!
Jiraiya once again dodged Naruto's fist attack. But this time Naruto did not hold back. The frog's hand launched an attack that could not be seen. Loi used his elbow to strongly hit Jiraiya in the stomach. Jiraiya's eyes suddenly widened. His body swayed, and he was immediately thrown out. On the ground, continuously undulating several times back. Only then, with difficulty, did the body stop. It's not good yet. This little guy has already opened his immortal form before me, taking advantage of all the time and place. Jiraiya got up from the ground, raised his hand to stroke the corner of his mouth, and muttered to himself. In his heart, he was very clear that if he was also in the immortal form state, he absolutely could not have been beaten to such a miserable state. Even with the help of the two Toad-Immortals, the possibility of victory is still very high. Bunta, help me stop this brat for a while. I need to open up my Sage form first. Jiraiya quickly retreated and shouted loudly at Bunta. He was in the air, looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen and Orochimaru on the other side of the battle gate, his heart filled with worry. Old man. Hold on. I know. Bunta agreed. This time he strangely did not refute Jiraiya, just stood in front of him with that huge ninja sword, his eyes full of vigilance as he looked at Naruto. Naruto was still standing in the same place. A trace of a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and he did not continue to advance. Forcing Jiraiya back was Naruto's only goal. Now that the goal has been achieved, as long as Jiraiya doesn't go and disturb Orochimaru and Sarutobi Hiruzen's battle gate, then Naruto will let him go. Another side. Still standing on both sides of the roof watching the show, the two groups of people at this moment only hated themselves for not being able to see these Kage-level contestants fighting. All in their eyes. After all, this kind of level of combat is not something that can be seen just by looking. Even if they don't learn any useful ninjutsu. Learning a little bit of these masters' combat techniques and strategies will be very beneficial to their future. That little brat. Is he really only 12 years old? Tayuya looked at Naruto's back, and involuntarily felt a sense of fear rise in her heart. Wanting her to wait under Orochimaru for many years, also saw many outstanding geniuses. This kind of guy is really like Naruto. This kind of extremely perverted guy, she really has never seen it before. 12 years old? Can you just randomly stop and beat up a legendary Sannin character until he's numb? And even beat the opponent to the ground? Is there any reason for this? It seems that the curse seal that Lord Orochimaru arranged for us isn't that powerful. Sakan also sighed continuously. In a flash, he felt the power of the curse seal was not fragrant. The umbu darkened, and the three people in the Haku group all took off their masks, so they could see more clearly the situation of this battle. I really didn't expect it. That Naruto guy is actually so strong. Even Lord Jiraiya isn't his opponent? But with Lord Jiraiya's help from Gamamaru, there won't be too big of a problem. Before the two could finish speaking, the man in black interrupted them again. Hey, you guys quickly look at the third lord over there. What exactly is going on? Follow the man in black's gaze back. Sarutobi Hiruzen now formed the Shadow Clone hand seal. 3 shadow clones stood side by side on the tree branches, their hands in front of them, forming strange hand gestures. Retired. The second eye's 2 eyes were hollow, without any emotion, turning into an afterimage that quickly rushed out. launching an attack towards one of the Sarutobi Hiruzen. Break! The powerful fist hit Sarutobi Hiruzen on the face, causing his face to deform, saliva flowing out. But Sarutobi Hiruzen strongly endured this attack. At the same time, he also took advantage of this opportunity, groping out with both hands, and firmly grabbed the second aim, with both hands. Hey, West! Finally caught you. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes revealed joy, and he shouted to Enma. Enma, I need some time. Help me stop the first eye. I know. Leave it to me. Enma agreed, using his not-so-flexible body to forcefully block First Eye. Although he endured quite a few punches and kicks, he ultimately did not allow First Eye to break through the defense line. Behind Sarutobi Hiruzen stood an illusory figure more than 10 meters tall in white robe. That figure's appearance was extremely ugly and ferocious, holding a very long dagger in its mouth. It was the corpse ghost sealing technique of the death god. According to Death, he raised his hand to grip the dagger's weak point and used force to swing the knife to cut open his own stomach. Sarutobi Hiruzen also followed as if he was seriously injured, a trace of fresh blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. At the same time, Sarutobi Hiruzen's abdomen also emitted a green smoke, and the black battle robe also burned a large hole in his abdomen. Two illusory arms, along Sarutobi Hiruzen's abdomen stretched out, straight groping towards the second target's abdomen, one hand grabbing the second target's soul. That technique. Could it be? Orochimaru saw the look of horror on his face. He had already guessed that Sarutobi Hiruzen used the magic. It was that extremely terrifying corpse demon seal. Disgusting. Old man. Orochimaru held Kusanagi in his hand and charged forward. But his progress was always one step slow, because the second eye did not have its own consciousness, and its soul did not know how to resist. Almost in a blink of an eye, the soul was pulled out of the body by the Grim Reaper's pair of illusory arms. The Grim Reaper opened its mouth wide, throwing a group of illusory human figures into its mouth. Swallowing each mouthful at the same time, the corner of the mouth also drooled a lot. Damn that old man. Orochimaru roared in anger and charged forward, swinging Kusanagi and launching an attack towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. With great difficulty, he obtained the second eye's flesh and blood, and turned the second eye into his own puppet weapon. But now, just like that, being arbitrarily sealed and deprived by Sarutobi Hiruzen, how could Orochimaru not be angry? Orochimaru, no need to rush, it will be your turn soon. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled slightly, cooperating with a shadow clone beside him, dodging Orochimaru's attack while also thinking of a way to capture it. Sarutobi, quick, I'll catch him. Enma was beaten up by Hashirama Senju, but in his mouth, the so-called capture was just being knocked to the ground by the opponent and unable to get up, with both hands tightly hugging the opponent's two legs. You worked hard, leave it to me. Another one gathered strength to activate Sarutobi Hiruzen's shadow clone. One stepped forward. Both hands reached back and grabbed Hashirama Senju's two hands. Immediately, this shadow clone's abdomen also emitted green smoke. A pair of illusory arms extended out from its abdomen. One of them grabbed Hashirama Senju's soul and used force to pull it out. This time is the same without exception. Hashirama's soul was quickly grabbed, immediately thrown into the mouth of the death god, swallowed in one gulp. Break! In the blink of an eye, the successful sealing of Hashirama's shadow clone also exploded into a white mist, disappearing into the sky. Break! Immediately after, another Sarutobi Hiruzen shadow clone was slashed to the ground by Orochimaru in Kusanagi's hand, exploding a white mist. Good opportunity. Sarutobi Hiruzen also took advantage of this opportunity. At the right time, he stretched out his two hands, quickly grabbing Orochimaru's two hands. Also not knowing whether or not because of the Shinigami's power blessing, Orochimaru felt like, after being captured, his body was somewhat unable to move. Even Kusanagi's hand couldn't hold it firmly, and it fell to the ground with a clang. That is. Orochimaru saw the huge illusory figure behind Sarutobi Hiruzen, his eyes filled with shock.
Oh, Orochimaru.
I will take you with me and leave this world. Sarutobi Hiruzen was panting heavily. Being old and weak, chakra is not contained in sufficient quantity. Plus the continuous fighting just now along with the sealing of the first eye and second eye, Sarutobi Hiruzen's body was already feeling a bit unwell. But he was not prepared to give up just like that. gritted his teeth, and let out a low shout. A green smoke rose from the abdomen. The black robe burned out a large hole. Immediately after, two illusory arms probed out from his abdomen, one of them holding Orochimaru's abdomen soul. Dream come true. Old man. Orochimaru's forehead broke out in cold sweat. But he did not lose his mind because of confusion. The control concept in the middle let the Kusanagi that fell to the ground dance and fly up, straight after Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart to stab in. Sarutobi, be careful. Enma's face was filled with horror as he pulled the seriously injured body and firmly grasped Kusanagi's blade. Poof! Kusanagi penetrated Sarutobi Hiruzen's body, passing through his chest. Enma, although grabbed Kusanagi's blade, was still a step too late. Ah! Sarutobi Hiruzen screamed miserably, blood spurting from his mouth. Disgusting. Lord Third Hokage. In the distance, the two Haku and three people who had been watching the dark show finally realized that they still had some use. The black-robed Umbu ninja cried out in alarm and rushed out, hoping to come to Sarutobi Hiruzen's rescue. The two white-robed men also followed closely behind, pulling out their own kunai. Lord Orochimaru's plan cannot be disturbed by you guys. Where are you? Sakan just strode out, a large patch of black tattoos spread out from the middle of his neck. Open the seal state later. Blocking the black-clothed man's path. Tayuya and Jirobo also opened the curse seal one after another, blocking the two white-robed people. Crackle, crackle, crackle. On the other side, a giant ninja sword was brandishing, and Naruto was defending Gamabunta. The roof was chipped, and the tiles were scattered everywhere. But Naruto was really too agile. Gamabunta turned his neck for a while, then was stunned. Naruto's shirt Kakuzu did not touch. Disgusting. Jiraiya, how long will it take for you to get better? Consecutive high-intensity attacks left Gamabunta panting nonstop. He felt like he was being teased, and he growled at Jiraiya with some dissatisfaction. Scream. Bunta. Toad oil. Jiraiya still clasped his hands together in salute, not wanting to separate his hands. He said something to Gamabunta, then immediately jumped up and kicked him repeatedly with his two legs in the splints. It is true that using two legs to form a group of ninjutsu hand seals. Understood. Gamabunta's voice was like thunder. After a sound of satisfaction, he opened his mouth and made a sound. A moment later, a large oil column was sprayed out, spraying straight towards Naruto's direction. Fire release toad oil flame bullet. At this moment, Jiraiya just landed on Bunta's head with both feet. His head tilted back, slightly. Then he suddenly spat out a strong spray. A flame spurted out from the mouth, setting the large oil pillar on fire. Boom boom tilde tilde. With the help of the fire release oil toad. In an instant a sea of fire covered the sky and earth. Rolling waves of heat surged forth, rushing straight towards Naruto's face. Naruto's mouth smiled slightly, without any confusion. Wow. Flying Thunder God technique activated. Naruto's body turned into orange lightning, disappearing from sight. Next, in the blink of an eye, a few dozen meters behind appeared, casually dodging the raging sea of fire. But after that pillar of fire hit the red tiles of the roof, it blew a big hole in the roof. Rolling waves of fire burned the red tiles until they exploded, continuously emitting popping sounds. Mr. Jiraiya, you should be able to guess, this kind of method is useless against me. Naruto hugged his arms and shouted loudly. At the same time, Naruto also turned his head to look back at Orochimaru on the other side of the battle circle. At this moment, the two master and disciple were engaging in a famous tug-of-war competition. Sarutobi Hiruzen desperately wanted to pull out Orochimaru's soul, and Orochimaru tried to extend his finger, mentally manipulating Kusanagi to move forward. Stabbed out. Wishing to completely end Sarutobi Hiruzen's life. Sarutobi Hiruzen fiercely groaned, his pierced chest aching, increasing chakra loss. The feeling of being exhausted made him unable to muster any strength. At this time, 8 Sarutobi Hiruzen relied solely on his willpower to persevere. Bunta. Thanks. Jiraiya frowned. Following Gamabunta's had jumped down, a few shakes and he arrived. Red tiles on the roof. Seemingly realizing that Sarutobi Hiruzen was running out of time, Jiraiya's heart was burning with anxiety and he charged straight towards the other side. But running on the road, his appearance suddenly changed. Toad erect. Straight copper appeared. Wine nose appeared. Red veins crawled all over. face everywhere, officially entered the immortal form state. At the same time, a mist exploded on both sides of his shoulders. 2 toads, one on the left and one on the right, stood on his shoulders. Collect.
Collect.
But before Jiraiya could run far, there were more than 10 kunai aimed at him. Fly directly to. Disgusting. Big brother, big sister, I leave it to you. Jiraiya shouted loudly, his movements still non-stop. Fukasaku the sage and Shima the sage, this pair of toads, just appeared, still in a daze. But their instinctive reaction to danger is not at all
Slow.
I know, little Jiraiya-chan. Shima agreed with a sound, opened his mouth and spit out that very soft toad tongue in the air. Use force to lift up. Lai Sin sent more than 10 kunai flying. But Shima also seemed to be unconscious. Naruto swung out kunai. All. Hirashin's special kunai. Naruto instantly arrived above Jiraiya, simultaneously clasping his hands in salute and forming hand seals. Would release heavenly wax technique.
Dong 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 dong.
Sharp tree roots condensed in the air and flew straight down towards Jiraiya. Jiraiya was forced to stop and had to continuously shake himself back several times, dodging the attacks from those tree roots. Fukasaku the sage frowned and asked Jiraiya. That's right, little Jiraiya-chan. It looks like there's a war going on in Konoha. This little brat. What is it that can use our Myobo cousin, Mayaboro's mountain? Toad sage technique. His father's child. What exactly is this? Could it be that you are personally taking in disciples outside? Fukasaku the immortal had a silent expression, sweat dripping down his forehead. Old lady, what nonsense are you talking about? We 10 were all waiting at Myobo cousin, and didn't come out. Where did I go to collect your things? Said, Fukasaku sage looked towards Naruto, also revealing an unbelievable expression. But this little brat's strength is really not bad. Can he even use would release ninjutsu? Although Jiraiya was equally surprised at this moment, Naruto's body was showing one strange thing after another, and at this moment, he was still somewhat immune. On the other side, the tug-of-war between the two masters and disciples continued as before.
Oh, Orochimaru.
Alright, since there's no way to take you away, then just take back all the ninjutsu I gave you. Saying that, Sarutobi Hiruzen's abdomen revealed a pair of illusory arms, and gave up on pulling out nearly half of Orochimaru's soul. On the contrary, he grabbed Orochimaru's 2 hands and, in almost a blink of an eye, pulled Orochimaru's soul out. The Shinigami raised his hand, clenched the dagger in his mouth, and swung it with great force, cutting off Orochimaru's 2 arms. The illusory arm quickly withdrew to Sarutobi Hiruzen's stomach. The seal of the dead demon. Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted loudly, his abdomen once again emitted green smoke. A circle of black lines appeared. Ah, you damn old man. Orochimaru was in so much pain that he let out a miserable scream. His pair of white hands, along with the severed soul part, instantly began to turn a dark gray. Until that pair of hands, all were surrounded by gray-black color. The skin began to rot again. Fresh blood gently fell from the hands.
Orochimaru-sama.
Sakan and the other 3 heard Orochimaru's miserable scream, and their hearts were all shocked. The 3 people glanced at each other and simultaneously opened the 2-form seal. Practice more legs. Almost woke up, 3 legs kicked out at the same time, sending the black-robed ninja flying. Earth release, earth tomb grasp. Jirobo squatted down and searched with both hands on the red tiles on the roof. The dense red tiles and concrete mixed together were instantly crumpled into a giant ball by Jirobo. Drink. Jirobo frowned and threw it out forcefully. The huge ball of fire roared and crashed into the roof, instantly crushing the other 2 white-robed Umbu members to death. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally lost his strength. He fell to the ground with a thud, his eyes half open looking towards Orochimaru and Jiraiya, wanting to spend the rest of his life. In order to protect the Hokage's rights, he had indeed done a lot of bad things with Danzo in the dark. Who would have thought that before he died to protect the peace of Konoha, he would also sacrifice his life to do something earth-shattering. Although there are still many lingering feelings and nostalgia for this world, but to have such a heroic ending, it can be considered a good choice. Retired. Finally able to escape, the 3 people jumped a few times and arrived at Orochimaru's side. Orochimaru-sama, are you okay? Leading the way ran to Tayuya, hurriedly lifted up the trembling Orochimaru, eyes filled with concern. Huho, both hands transmitted burning pain, causing Orochimaru to break out in cold sweat, violently panting nonstop. He finally glared at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who fell to the ground, and ordered in a deep voice, "Let's go." Immediately, the three of them, hiding in the shadows, brought Orochimaru's bodyguards in the center and jumped down from their red tile roof. "Orochimaru, you dare to escape!" Jiraiya roared. No longer blocking Naruto's way, he jumped several times and chased after Orochimaru. The friendship of the past comrades, when Orochimaru betrayed and fled to Konoha, was all cut off. Jiraiya was once such an idiot, recklessly wanting to bring Orochimaru back. In return, Orochimaru was only unintentionally killed, and was even almost killed by Orochimaru. From that moment on, Jiraiya was also completely enlightened. No matter how good their relationship was, when they go in opposite directions, the distance between them can only grow further and further. There can no longer be room to turn back. At this time, Jirobo and Sakan, one on the left and one on the right, carried the exhausted, wounded Orochimaru, and arrived at the red-tiled roof behind the courtyard. Looking at Jiraiya, who was rapidly chasing after him, Tayuya knew she was no match, but still chose to stay behind with a determined gaze. The art of spiritualism. Tayuya made a hand seal with both hands, and the moment she landed on the ground, she squatted down and patted the ground.
Break. Break.
The left hand and right hand on the ground, each part spread out a large circle of black lines. Following the three bursts of white mist, 3 7 to 8 meter tall giants suddenly appeared. They stood side by side, blocking in front of Tayuya. On the left, the other person's whole body was wrapped in bandages. In the middle was a shirtless, muscular body. On the right, the other person was surrounded by black clothes. But these three giants all have common characteristics, each holding a uniquely shaped and exceptionally large wolf-tooth staff in their hands. At the same time, the faces of the three of them could not be seen. Either they were wrapped in bandages, or covered by cloth, and one was covered by long hair. Oh. Tayuya hooked the flute from her waist, placed it in her mouth, and blew out a piece of music. The three stupid giants posing together also started to move. Waving the huge wolf-tooth mace in his hand, he aimed it at Jiraiya, who was chasing him, and smashed it down with all his might. "Little Jiraiya-chan, just keep chasing. I'll deal with those three," Fukasaku the Immortal said, quickly forming seals with both hands, and shouted towards Shima the Immortal. "Old woman, use that move to finish them off in one go." "I know. Thank you, big brother." "Big sister." Jiraiya agreed, ignoring the incoming wolf fang mace, and continued to fly straight ahead. This is also the reason why Jiraiya and Fukasaku have worked together so well for so many years. In his heart, he absolutely believes that Fukasaku will not harm him. "Little Jiraiya-chan, rest assured, let's go." As Shima Sage spoke, a pair of toad hands clasped together in front of his chest to form a seal. "Senpo, verbal battle." Shima Immortal opened his mouth and spat. The tip of his tongue extended out like a steel whip, circling around the three giants several times. Ba pulled a little, suddenly grabbed the huge force under the road, tied the three giants together, making them basically unable to move. Immediately, the wolf fang stick in that hand was smashed towards Jiraiya, but there was no way to advance. Senpo Mizu slash. As Fukasaku the sage completed his seal, his head lifted up and tilted back, opening his mouth and suddenly spitting out. A column of water sprayed out from its mouth and slashed towards the three giants. Crack, crack. The water column was like an extremely sharp blade, instantly cutting the three giants' bodies into two pieces. Following a few loud bangs, the three giants turned into white mist and disappeared into thin air. Disgusting. Can't even stop for 2 seconds? As expected of a Sannin who is as famous as Lord Orochimaru, Tayuya clenched her teeth, a trace of fear appearing on her face. But with absolute loyalty to Orochimaru, Tayuya still refused to retreat, spreading her arms to block in front, intending to block Jiraiya. "Roll away." Jiraiya was extremely angry. Seeing the third Hokage fall before his eyes made him hate Orochimaru to the extreme. The last bit of brotherly love he had left was almost completely worn away just now.
Break.
Jiraiya like lightning swung out a punch, at Tayuya's chest. Tayuya's chest, which was only facing A, instantly sank down a bit. as blood spurted from her mouth. Her entire body flew backwards in disarray. Oh no! Tayuya can't stop him. Jirobo is impatient and has a relatively honest personality, although he is usually looked down upon by his teammates. But seeing Tayuya being blown away in a miserable state with his own eyes, Jirobo was still worried about his teammate's safety. Retired. A black figure emerged from a dark place. Yakushi Kabuto, wearing a black robe, appeared beside Orochimaru.
Oh, Kabuto.
Quickly, use Ryukuru, Dragon Earth movement, to reverse the direction of the spirit and leave. Orochimaru was panting heavily. Seeing Yakushi Kabuto coming, he hurriedly gave orders. Early in the run to Konoha before, Orochimaru had already made thorough preparations for battle. Even the escape route has many heads. Ryukuru, Dragon Earth Cave, reverse direction spirit communication, can be considered one of them. And Yakushi Kabuto had long ago signed the Kichios no Kyaku, soul contract, with Ryukuru, Dragon Earth Cave. I understand, Lord Orochimaru. Yakushi Kabuto nodded. His glasses flashing white light. He slid down his sleeve and threw 2 kunai, waving his hand towards Jiraiya. Collect. Collect. That kunai did not directly attack Jiraiya, but instead stuck it in the ground in front of him. At the end of the kunai tied 2 green balls. With a bang, they broke apart. A large patch of purple mist spread out, instantly blocking the surrounding view. Little Jiraiya-chan, be careful, this mist is poisonous. Shima's sage had sensitive senses, and as soon as he was infected with a bit of mist, he knew that it contained a large amount of poison. Disgusting. Jiraiya cursed, jumped up, stomped on the roof, and once again chased after Orochimaru and the others.
But
Yakushi Kabuto, threw out the kunai at the same time, also took out a small black snake from inside his black robe. He gently touched the little snake's head and pleaded, "Thank you, Little Black." Little Black Snake's tongue kept spitting out and swallowing. It nodded with a very human look. Then with a bang it exploded into a cloud of mist, disappearing from Yakushi Kabuto's palm. Yakushi Kabuto bit his finger, quickly formed several hand seals, squatted down, and clapped his palms on the ground. A circle of black lines spread out, surrounding several people. Break! The white mist exploded. Orochimaru, Yakushi Kabuto, Sakan, Jirobo, for people, all disappeared on the spot. Only the successor Tayuya, who was beaten to the ground and unable to get up, was still lying on the ground, miserably reaching out towards the direction the people disappeared. Lord Orochimaru. Disgusting. Still let him escape. Jiraiya gritted his teeth in anger, turned his head to look towards the roof, as if he wanted to confirm whether the other mastermind, Naruto, was still there or not. Lustful immortal. Oh no, Mr. Jiraiya, goodbye. After watching Naruto's show, he didn't intend to stay any longer and waved his hand towards Jiraiya. Orange light flashed. Naruto disappeared from sight. In the next blink of an eye, Naruto appeared under a 1,000-year-old tree in the Forest of Death. The battle dragged on, adding to the conversation with Sasuke just now, and the tug-of-war with Sarutobi Hiruzen. The sun had long since set behind the mountain. It was already nighttime. Hyuga Hinata, because his body had not yet recovered, was quietly leaning against a large tree, quietly resting. A Naruto shadow clone sat cross-legged beside Hinata waiting. Any movement around would not escape the shadow clone's detection. Looking around, he still did not see Uchiha Sasuke's figure. But Naruto's sage mode had not yet been destroyed. Just in a flash, he felt Sasuke's existence. This kid was standing on top of a giant tree, looking towards the eastern direction of Konoha. It was as if from such a far distance, he could still see something like that. Not paying any attention to it, Naruto squatted down and gently patted Hinata's face. "Hinata, wake up, I'm back." Hinata opened her eyes wide, her face showing delight. She quickly raised her hand and grabbed Naruto's hand. "How is it going? I just heard Sasuke-kun say you were fighting with a third, and those people, are you injured?" As she spoke, Hinata held Naruto's arm tightly, constantly examining Naruto's body. Naruto smiled and shook his head, one hand holding her in his chest, gently stroking her little head. "Hinata, don't worry. I promised you that I wouldn't let anything happen to you. Of course I won't go back on my word."
Yes.
Hinata softly agreed, her arms tightly hugging Naruto, as if only like this, she could truly feel secure. Perhaps hearing the commotion below, Sasuke stepped on the tree trunk and jumped down a few times. Cough cough. Looking at the two people who completely made him look like an idiot, Sasuke couldn't help but cover his mouth and cough twice, signaling that there were still people living here. You two just hug each other like that in front of everyone. Isn't that a bit inappropriate?
Ah,
Hinata just now recalled, there is still a Sasuke here. She instantly blushed in embarrassment and broke free from Naruto's embrace. Naruto just felt that Hinata like this was really too cute. He reached out to pinch her small face, then turned his head to look at Sasuke. Sasuke. Everything is fine. That old man, the third Hokage, died from his own corpse demon-consuming technique. Is that so? Sasuke nodded slightly but didn't show much joy. Perhaps he couldn't personally stab his enemy. So Sasuke still felt unhappy in his heart. After a moment of contemplation, Sasuke asked in a low voice, Naruto, so, what are you planning to do next? The two of us have now reached this level. Konoha probably can't wait any longer. Naruto could not deny and nodded. That is natural. I have no intention of bringing you all to live in this forest. Next, let's go to Wave Country first. The Land of Waves? Sasuke was slightly stunned. Is that the country where Old Man Tizana is from? That place isn't that far from the Land of Fire. I'm afraid it's not an ideal place. Sasuke's meaning is very simple. Our group has now also become traitorous ninjas. In the future, when we travel in the ninja world, we will of course be chased by the Leaf Village ninjas. Although Wave Country is an island nation, it is not far from Fire Country. Furthermore, with Tizana's bridge repair efficiency, perhaps the large bridge connected to the Fire Nation has already been completely completed. By then, it would be easier for the Leaf Village ninja to catch up, and Naruto and his group could only spend their time worrying and being on guard. Naruto shook his head. Sasuke, don't worry. The Land of Waves is not our final goal, and with my current strength, it's not something that any random Konoha cat or dog can deal with. While speaking, Hyuga Hinata, who had been hanging down, suddenly raised her head. That.
Naruto-kun.
I want to go back to the clan's grounds to see my father and Hanabi. Is that okay? I don't want them to worry about me. Early in the morning, the underground base was in a stone prison. Naruto told Hinata about his plans to leave Konoha. Hinata only hesitated a bit, then expressed that she wanted to leave with Naruto. But now that the time to depart is approaching, Hinata begins to worry about her family. After all, after this trip, she may not know if she will be able to return in the future. Naruto raised his chin, frowned and thought for a moment, then refused Hinata's request. Hinata, it's not the right time to go back now. Konoha has suffered such a blow. The Hyuga clan members have all stepped onto the battlefield, and naturally your father is also included. As for Hanabi, she is still young, so she probably won't be participating in this battle. That little girl is probably taking refuge inside the hole with everyone else right now. That's right, I actually forgot about this point. Hinata nodded slightly, also feeling that Naruto was right. But in her eyes still unconsciously appeared a trace of disappointment, all of which were carefully captured and discovered by Naruto. Naruto reached out and stroked Hinata's little head, comforting her. Don't worry, Hinata, I have already made the Hiration mark on the big locust tree outside your Hyuga clan's gate. Whenever you miss home, I can take you back to visit. Really, Naruto-kun, that's great. Hinata's eyes immediately lit up, her face flushed with excitement. But because her body had not yet recovered, she felt uncomfortable, covering her mouth and coughing violently. Really don't get excited. Naruto quickly reached out and patted Hinata on the back. A long while later, waiting for Hinata to finally regain her strength, Naruto then said to the two people, Sasuke, Hinata, let's go. We're going to the Land of Waves now. Yes. Neither of them had any objections, and nodded in agreement. Naruto clenched one hand and activated the Flying Thunder God technique.
Wow.
A flash of light appeared in the middle, and the three people disappeared under the 1,000-year-old tree in the Death Forest. Only left behind a Naruto shadow clone, helplessly shaking his head and sighing, AI, why would I be forgotten here? I guess I'll just end it myself.
Break.
A white mist exploded, and the shadow clone disappeared without a trace. And Naruto and the other three people in the next blink of an eye also appeared in Tizana's guest room. At this time, Tizana, a family of three, was sitting around the living room table, eating while watching TV. But Naruto, three people suddenly appeared, but still made Tizana family of three mouths startled. The brief fear passed, and a smile appeared on Tizana's face. Ah, it's Naruto. Why are you coming to our house at this time? Naruto chuckled and then laughed again. Old man, what? You don't welcome us? Tizana kept waving her hands and laughingly said, AI.
No, no.
What are you talking about? Inari inside saw Naruto appear. That crying face also instantly revealed a smile. He jumped down from the chair that was taller than him, ran after Naruto, ran over. Naruto, big brother, are you back to see me? The last time Naruto brought him and those big men to save him, Inari still remembers clearly. While admiring Naruto, he also developed a good impression of this casual big brother. Naruto reached out and stroked Inari's head. The Inari inside is really smart. Of course I came to visit you guys. Speaking, Naruto dragged Hinata out from behind, pressed her shoulders down on the chair in front of the dining table, and shamelessly asked Tizana, Old man, we haven't even had dinner yet. If we deal with you guys here, you probably won't mind, right? Tizana's face darkened. You all sit down and still come to ask me if I'm shy or not. I can't even care. But Tizana really still remembers that Naruto's strength is very strong. Moreover, the last time the Wave Country disaster happened, fortunately Naruto's talent was enough to calm things down. Therefore, stopping at just rice and vegetables, he naturally wouldn't be stingy. No problem, no problem. Tizana laughed heartily in response, then waved towards Inari's mother and said, Nami, quickly go and prepare some more delicious food to properly greet Naruto and the others. Yes, good. Tsunami nodded, stood up, and headed to the kitchen. Just like that, Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata interrupted this family's meal. After sitting down at the dinner table, Tizana and Naruto also chatted about the recent situation in the Land of Waves. It was just as Sasuke thought. The Great Bridge on the Sea of the Wave Country leading to the Fire Country, in these few months, was completely completed. After Gata died, the originally dominant shipping group's enterprise also completely collapsed. Gata's subordinates and those in charge, each fought for power and influence, divided up Gata's assets, and then used all of his money to travel. But after the Wave Country had great demand, it finally no longer needed to continue being exploited, and the villagers gradually began to become rich. After chatting for a while, Tsunami brought several fragrant dishes and placed them on the dining table. Braised pork with carp, steamed corn with ribs, stir-fried chili with pork, fried egg with tomato and tofu, seaweed soup. Each dish is absolutely perfect. Naruto, Sasuke, and this little girl some rice and vegetables. I don't know if it suits your taste or not. Tsunami took off her apron and said to the three people with a smile on her face. Naruto nodded slightly. Auntie Nami, you don't need to be so polite. We haven't eaten for a few days now. And we're starving to death. Any random food we're given will be delicious. Tsunami put the apron aside, sat down on the chair, and said enthusiastically, Haha, this is of course the best. You guys can just let go and eat. If it's not enough, I'll say more. Hinata and Sasuke both nodded gratefully toward Tsunami. Naruto was not polite at all. He picked up the chopsticks on the table, picked up food and started eating. We are all old acquaintances. No need to pretend to be polite. During the meal, Tizana shook the rice in her bowl, as if suddenly remembering something. She turned her head to Naruto and said, That's right, Naruto. There's one more thing I forgot to tell you. Mr. Zabuza and Haku are both living and working next door to us. Naruto was a little stunned. His mouth was full of rice. He said vaguely, What? Settle down? What's the situation? Are these two people preparing to become villagers of Wave Country in the future? Not waiting for Tizana to reply, Inari suddenly spoke first. Yes, Uncle Zabuza and Big Brother Bai and the others are staying at our house. Moreover, Brother Bak recently taught me some ninja knowledge so I can start training my body. Haku taught you ninjutsu? Is he trying to recruit you? Naruto asked a question in a daze. But because there was too much rice in his mouth, it went into his throat and he choked, covering his mouth and coughing non-stop.
Naruto-kun, ate slowly.
Hinata sat beside him, quickly put down the bowl and chopsticks in her hand, and helped Naruto pat the bowl and chopsticks on his back. Inari shook his head. Big Brother Bak didn't say he wanted to take me as his disciple. He just said he wanted to teach me some self-defense skills so that if I encounter any problems in the future, I can face them more calmly. After saying that, Inari looked at Hinata and asked, Naruto, big brother, what's wrong? Is this your girlfriend? She is so beautiful. Why are her pupils so different? We are not the same. Hinata's face immediately turned red, habitually raising both hands in front of her body, fingers twisting up around. Before, she rarely contacted outsiders. except for Naruto and Inari. Still the first person to praise her beauty. Naruto finally regained his strength, hugged Hinata's shoulder, and replied with a smile. Inari inside. There is a little girl. You have good eyes, but she is really your future sister-in-law. You're not allowed to act rashly. Miss you. As soon as those words were spoken, the eating movements of the people at the dining table all stopped for a moment. But when they saw Naruto's evil smile, they knew that this guy was joking. Sure enough, Inari's face instantly turned red from being teased, and she waved her fist. The little girl retorted. Big brother Naruto, who said I want to miss this older sister? I'm just now. Want to put your heart into following Big Brother Bak to learn good ninjutsu. This meal came down. Naruto ate 5 big bowls of rice, then burped, showing that he was very satisfied. On the contrary, Hinata, because of her injury, only ate a little bit, then said she couldn't eat anymore. Sasuke also didn't know the reason. He kept his head down and didn't say anything, eating even more. He casually took a few sips, then moved to the side of the sofa and sat down to rest. Knowing that Naruto and the other 3 had nowhere to go, Tizana enthusiastically invited them and let Naruto and the other 3 stay in her house temporarily. The sky was already getting dark. If Naruto still wanted to bring 2 people outside to find a place to stay, it would be too much. What a pain. Tizana's family was very enthusiastic, and Naruto was also with them at first. He knows. Naturally, there is no need to be polite. Wait until Hinata and Sasuke both go upstairs, go to their own rooms. Prepare to wash your face and rest afterwards. Naruto also opened the big door and walked straight towards Zabuza's bedroom. The story is exactly as Tizana said. As Naruto walked across the small wooden bridge to the main road, he saw that the originally empty mountain area opposite the main road had been covered by a wooden building at some unknown time. The wooden house's wooden planks are very new, and quite a few can still be seen dripping with winter grease. Obviously this house is also new and not closed for long. Favor. A little heavier, comfortable. When Naruto went to the wooden house outside the door, he wanted to raise his hand to knock on the door, but heard a strange lazy sound came from the room. But the person who made this sound was a strong male voice. Furthermore, Naruto instantly recognized that this was Zabuza's voice. What is this situation? What are these 2 people doing in the room together? They are not really the legendary gay gang, just dealing with those not suitable for children? Naruto instantly felt his scalp go numb. He raised his hand and put it down again. In his heart, he was constantly struggling with hesitation, whether to go back first and then talk, but he suddenly heard Haku's voice. Mr. Zabuza, my massage technique is fine. Your shoulder still needs some pressure. Star.
Fuck it.
Working for half a day, Zabuza made me so excited. It turns out it was because of massage? Dong dong dong. Naruto raised his hand and knocked on the door. Mr. Zabuza, a guest has arrived. I will go open the door first. Haku's voice came from inside the house, followed by a series of footsteps coming from far and near.
Good job.
As the wooden latch inside the door was pulled out, the wooden door made a loud creaking sound as it was pulled open from the inside. Naruto-kun, long time no see. Why are you here now? Seeing Naruto in a flash, Haku's calm face revealed a look of joy. Naruto did not reply to the other party at first. His eyes continuously glanced at Haku up and down until he confirmed that this guy was not disheveled. Then he erased the dirty speculation in his heart. What is it, Naruto-kun? Is something wrong? Why are you looking at me so strangely? Haku doubtfully lowered his head, looking at himself. Naruto smiled shyly, shook his head and said, No, just looking at you recently. Big breasts and lust, so now I carefully observe a bit. Haku immediately showed an embarrassed expression on his face. Recalling the last chest training event, his expression became a bit unnatural. Naruto-kun, you make me joke again. Zabuza heard the conversation, suddenly jumped up from the chair, and quickly walked towards the door. Naruto, it really is you. Zabuza's eyes revealed joy, being able to see Naruto again. He was still very happy in his heart. Although this little guy exudes mystery everywhere, even in their Water-Finger country village. Fog a little secret, all can know the wall. But through the previous incident, Zabuza also determined that Naruto did not have any ill intentions towards him. Naruto nodded slightly. Yes, just arrived, heard you guys moved here. So, I came to visit you guys. Zabuza-san, let Naruto-kun go in first, and then we'll talk. Haku took the lead and responded. Response. Zabuza nodded. On Naruto, come over and talk. Tell us what happened to you recently. In fact, Zabuza already had a vague guess in his heart. Last time, Naruto told him he wanted to betray and run away from the village. Since Naruto suddenly appeared here, it naturally couldn't be that he was here to carry out a mission. Yes. Naruto nodded and followed the two people in the room to sit down. After going to the kitchen to have a few cups of tea and coming back, the three of them sat together and chatted. Zabuza took a sip of hot tea, looked at Naruto and asked indifferently, Naruto, you probably won't be able to return easily this time you leave the village. Naruto also did not deny, that's right, today in Konoha, a great and earth-shattering event really happened. What? Zabuza and Haku simultaneously shouted in surprise. Haku frowned slightly and asked, Orochimaru, is he one of the legendary Sannin? Although Naruto only superficially explained, this shocking event still made Zabuza and Haku's faces full of surprise. Zabuza couldn't help but shake his head and sigh. Naruto, speaking like this, your strength has improved quite a bit these days. Haku also followed suit and said, to be able to compete with the two legendary Sannin and not even fall behind. It seems that Naruto-kun's strength has long surpassed ours. Host has launched a selection mission. Please complete any mission in the selection below. You can get corresponding mission rewards. Choice number 1, patted his chest and said to Zabuza in vain, yes, the master is just that awesome. Worship me, admire me, submit to my crotch. Complete can get reward, Toa series ultra thin wave, only black one end. Second place, in the land of waves, he started to establish a ninja village camp. He used a technique on Zabuza and Haku and lured them into becoming members of the camp. Complete can get reward. Shursui Uchiha Mangekyo Sharingan Dojutsu Kodo Amatsukami. Use age recovery reduced by 5 years. Hey. System, this is a bit unusual. What the hell is the first choice? Naruto silently sighed in his heart. The first line of the script is too pretentious. There is no way to say out loud. If Naruto really said it, even if he hadn't been chased by Zabuza for 3 days and 3 nights in vain, he would have been killed by the two Byakugan. What about the super thin reward that is only black on one end? Is this prepared for me to give to Hinata to wear? Hinata is really young. This is a bit inappropriate. Every time Naruto directly eliminated the candidate, he didn't look at him. The second selection content is also very suitable for Naruto's mind. The reason Naruto first ran to the Land of Waves was to find Zabuza and Haku, right? Because he clearly knew that the future would be filled with danger, Naruto was indeed prepared to build his own power. And now the system has proposed a mission to establish a ninja faction, which coincides with Naruto's thoughts. Hey, system, what does Kodo Amatsukami mean by reducing his age by 5 years? Is he planning to let me install that I? The system's missions and rewards are random in nature. The host has a chance to obtain Kodo Amatsukami's usage limit reduction. The system's voice reminder rang out once again in his mind. Naruto seemed to understand whether or not the entire usage period of Kodo Amatsukami could be exempted would depend on the system's mood. As for whether or not to replace Shirsue's eye, that was entirely up to Naruto himself to decide. Kodo Amatsukami, honored as the strongest illusionist, can invade a person's brain, forcibly modifying another person's will. What a perverted method. Throw away Mangekyo Sharingan and other abilities. Just this Kodo Amatsukami technique already has enough suction power. Moreover, Naruto now really has Hashirama cells, so his body will not show any rejection to the transplanted Sharingan. System 222. I choose option 2. Naruto replied to the system in his heart, seeing Naruto still in a daze. Zabuza and Haku were both a bit puzzled. Haku shook his hand in front of Naruto's eyes. Hey, Naruto-kun, what's wrong? Why are you in a daze? Naruto just reacted, awkwardly scratching his head. Hee, it's nothing, although what you said is all true, but there's no need to praise so harshly. I'm afraid I'll blush later. Byakuya's horn twitched, and he secretly said in his heart, even you, who is even thicker-skinned than a mother pig, will also show Kurenai's reaction. Zabuza picked up the tea and took another sip, laughing. Naruto, so this time you must have completely betrayed and fled to Konoha. I really didn't expect that we would so quickly become the same kind of people. I believe the ninja continent has a bounty on its board. Your name will appear soon. Naruto was a little stunned. bounty board? There is such a thing. Zabuza nodded slightly. That's natural. Every traitor who escapes from the ninja village will have their list published by the village and sent to the various ninja world nations. No matter what crime this ninja committed, as long as you have the ability to capture him, you can return him to that country to be dealt with and reap a huge reward. Naruto nodded thoughtfully. That's what it means, not like the pirates in One Piece. Each pirate has a different bounty limit, and any character can take down this pirate and exchange it for that huge bounty. Haku suddenly asked, Naruto-kun, so, what are your plans next? Naruto was happy inside, thinking to himself that you asked this question at the right time. He was worried about selecting the second-place mission and didn't know how to open his mouth. I plan to establish a ninja camp in the Land of Waves and create a ninja army from this small island nation. Naruto raised his chin and spoke thoughtfully. What? Zabuza and Haku glanced at each other, both with a bit of surprise on their faces. Since they betrayed and fled to the Mist Village, they have been wandering around the ninja world for the past 5 years. Encountered many ninja assassins. 5 years ago drifted to this small island country of Wave Country. Neither of them expected that the one waiting here would be 5 Nien. To say that there is no love here is impossible. Therefore, hearing Naruto mention wanting to establish a ninja faction for the Land of Waves, Zabuza 2's first reaction was excitement. Although this type of small island nation did not have much conflict after Gata fell, but Zabuza and the others wanted to settle down here. So life in the future definitely wouldn't be particularly peaceful. Putting aside the Mist Ninja's pursuit, those other ninja who saw Kurenai's money might also have the idea of attacking Zabuza and the other two. Nice tree cool. If Naruto could really establish such a ninja faction in the Land of Waves, Zabuza and his life would be much better in the future. However, after the brief moment of surprise and joy, Zabuza and Haku seemed to have thought of something, and their expressions calmed down again. Haku looked at Naruto and said in a low voice, Naruto-kun, wanting to establish a ninja faction in the Land of Waves is not such a simple matter. First, you need to prepare a large amount of financial resources, make ninja tools, buy teaching materials, buy equipment, and also have staff to stay, necessary rooms, and necessary training grounds. Each of these costs a lot of money. In terms of human resources, you need to have enough ninja instructors capable of running a ninja training school. Zabuza nodded in agreement, looked at Naruto and said calmly, Haku is right, Naruto. You are also a graduate of the Konoha Ninja Academy. I believe you also know, to train a ninja, it takes many years of time. Moreover, this wave country is just a small island country. The villagers are basically all relatively poor. There are quite a few children in the village who, at Inari's age, already want to help with farm work at home, and I'm afraid they don't have much time to go to ninja school to study. These two people sang and responded in unison, causing Naruto to be stunned for a moment. Think about it, they really do talk like that. Wanting to pull a ninja faction into the wave country is not that simple. But who gave the system to Naruto to send out missions? Furthermore, this mission's reward is extremely rich, which gives Naruto no reason to give up so easily. Kodo Amatsukami 5 years exemption period. The next time the system issues a mission, if it can also exempt Kodo Amatsukami from his term, then Naruto will have another ultimate move. Frowning and pondering for a moment, Naruto looked at Zabuza and the other two and said, You don't need to worry about money. I still have a full 30 trillion. Establishing a ninja village shouldn't be too big of a problem. Zabuza was still enjoying tea at this time. Hearing these 30 trillion two numbers, his body couldn't help but shake, choking on a mouthful of tea and coughing nonstop. Haku looked startled, looked at Naruto and asked, Naruto-kun, you're not joking, right? Do you know what this concept is? These two people's doubts are not without reason. The rent for the high-level A-level or S-level missions from the Shinins is also from several tens of thousands to several hundreds of thousands of taels. Normally ninjas who perform C-rank or D-rank missions, the rent is naturally even lower, wanting to save 300 trillion silver coins. I'm afraid that even the 3 great-grandfathers who have been busy all their lives would not have saved up that much money. But the two of them did not know that Naruto was very relaxed this time. Gata's life of evil money, more than half of it went into Naruto's pocket. Naruto smiled as he looked at the two of them and slowly said, I'm not joking with you guys. I really have money. The money Gata had in his house was all taken by me last time. Naruto had no intention of making any secret. After all, such a large sum of money coming from such a large place. Wanting to come up with a decent reason is not that simple. Zabuza and Haku suddenly understood, their expressions showing a bit of helplessness. Zabuza said, Naruto, you're still a quick-witted brat. After Gato was assassinated, you still remembered to rob him of his money. Haku nodded slightly. That's right, but Naruto-kun doing so is not inappropriate. Gato earns all the money with evil intentions. Instead of letting Gato's subordinates take all the money, it's better to keep it for Naruto-kun as the money to establish the ninja camp. That's right. Naruto nodded seriously, then pretended to be very helpless, and let out a sigh.
AI.
Really, this idea of mine still seems a bit impractical. Although I have money, it is not enough, ninja master. Before he could finish speaking, Haku took the lead and said, Naruto-kun, actually whatever teacher or whatever, you don't need to worry too much. Right now, you can temporarily carry out this task from me and Mr. Zabuza. Zabuza also nodded slightly. Saying it's useless also makes some sense. We're idle here and have nothing to do. Finding something to stretch our muscles is also a good choice. Naruto was overjoyed. I knew you guys would cooperate like this. I don't need to continue pretending to be awkward. Not knowing how to open my mouth. But on the surface, Naruto still had Fudo's expression. Just the two of you, the amount of work will be a bit too much. Haku shook his head. It's nothing. Naruto-kun, you don't need to worry about this at all. I really like being with those children. Being able to nurture those little ones is a joy to me. Zabuza also chimed in and said, Yes, I might be a little busy with work in the future. I don't need to spend all day fishing in Tizana's lake. Go fishing? Naruto was a bit stunned. So Zabuza was also a friend? Naruto nodded and smiled. But it is really too good. With two people joining, I believe our Wave Nation Ninja Village can be established very quickly. Ah, that's right. Zabuza and Haku glanced at each other, both with smiles in their eyes. Continuing to chat with them for a while, Naruto suddenly felt that the situation was a bit wrong. Hey,
System.
didn't those two already agree to join me? Why haven't you given them the mission reward reminder yet? Naruto asked in his heart. Please see the content of the recruitment mission clearly. The capture of Zabuza and Haku has been successful, and the ninja camp still needs to be established in the Land of Waves. Only then will the mission be considered complete. Naruto. Very quickly, the time has come to pass 10 o'clock at night. Naruto and the two said goodbye and returned to Tizana's house. In the living room, the TV was still on the same program. Inari inside the mother was sitting on the sofa, holding the remote control to change the TV program. Naruto, you're back. Seeing Naruto coming back, Tsunami stood up and called out enthusiastically. Naruto nodded. Yes, Nami aunt, you haven't slept yet. Where are the people inside Inari? Tsunami raised his finger and pointed upstairs, smiling and saying, Inari inside and his grandfather are already asleep. Your two teammates seem to have also rested early. Like this, then why aren't you sleeping yet? Naruto nodded and asked. Tsunami smiled and said, I'm waiting for you to come back, afraid that when the time comes no one will greet you. That's right, you're sleeping with your girlfriend. Still in the same room as last time, I've prepared a mattress and blanket for you. Naruto was asked until his face turned red. He smiled embarrassedly. Aunt Nami, looking at what you said, I naturally sleep alone in a room. She and I are both young. I still have this point of respect. Tsunami smiled, with an I know you look, blinked towards Naruto. Okay, Naruto. You don't have to be really inconvenient, I know. I'll go clean up in that room. You wash up and then come back early to rest. After saying that, Tsunami headed towards the stairs. Naruto was immediately upset. You know, I'm really moderate. Besides, Hinata's injuries haven't improved at all, and I'm only 12 years old. How can I do something different?
Konoha.
As dusk began and Orochimaru and his followers escaped, the war was almost declared over. Losing their leader, the three great ninja villages of Sand Village, Hidden Shadow Village, and Hidden Grass Village, the United Ninja Army, were quickly defeated. Attacking the Hidden Leaf Village in the city of the three great ninja villages, 3 out of 2 were killed on the spot. The remaining 3 parts were surrounded by the Konoha Ninja Army and could only reluctantly choose to surrender. This 3 out of 1 ninja will not be killed, they can only be imprisoned. From Konoha, the messenger sent a letter to the 3 great ninja villages. Again, The leaders or high-ranking officials of the three great ninja villages brought huge compensation money to Konoha. After Konoha made compensation, they could take those people away. The purpose of doing so is not that these high-ranking people in Konoha village are lofty. They want to spare the enemy's life. Just killing those guys won't have much effect. At most it will make you feel happy. On the contrary, if we use them all as hostages, we can also get huge compensation money. Using this compensation money to rebuild Konoha's walls and houses could also recover a lot of the losses.